Welcome to Logos in the Machine, where ancient wisdom and modern technology converge. Today, we're diving into the human condition, exploring humankind's insatiable skull, striving through a couple of unique lenses.
Two very different perspectives, yeah. Separated by time and culture, but both grappling with this fundamental aspect of what it means to be human.
Exactly. Our first lens takes us to the heart of the Mayan civilization. Mel Gibson's film, Apocalypto. Visually stunning film. And you know what's really fascinating? All the dialogue. It's in the Yucatec Maya language.
Oh, yeah. Gibson's choice to use the Yucatec Maya language, it was deliberate. He wanted to immerse the audience in the Mayan world, to make it feel more authentic, more visceral. He believed that by stripping away that familiarity of English, he could heighten the impact of the visuals and the story itself.
It definitely works. The film has this raw, powerful energy that really draws you in. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the plot, but there's this one scene, a story told by an elder, really captures the essence of what we're talking about today.
The old man's story operates on multiple levels, simple tale, yet it speaks volumes about the nature of desire and the human condition.
Okay, so picture this. A man sits alone in the forest, consumed by a deep sadness. He's so overwhelmed by sorrow that the animals, well, they take notice.
It's interesting how the animals are portrayed in this story. They're not just passive creatures, they're active participants. Concerned for the man's well-being, they represent different aspects of nature, each with its own unique gift to offer.
Right. So the vulture, seeing the man's despair, approaches him first. He offers the man his keen eyesight, saying, "With my gift, you will see clearly, even in the darkest of places."
The vulture's gift of sight could be interpreted as a metaphor for the pursuit of knowledge, the desire to see the world more clearly and understand its complexities.
And the man, eager to escape his sadness, accepts the vulture's gift. Next comes the jaguar. Strong and powerful, he offers the man his strength, saying, "With my gift, you will overcome any obstacle."
The jaguar's gift of strength might represent the desire for power, the ability to exert one's will upon the world. It's the drive to achieve, to conquer, to be in control.
But even with these gifts, the man's sadness lingers. Then the serpent, sleek and wise, approaches him. He offers the man the gift of knowledge, whispering, "With my gift, you will unlock the secrets of the universe."
The serpent's gift of knowledge is perhaps the most potent of all, represents that insatiable thirst for understanding, the desire to unravel the mysteries of life and death.
The man, believing this knowledge will finally cure his sadness, eagerly accepts the serpent's offer. He departs, seemingly content, but
the owl, observing all of this from a distance, grows increasingly worried. He sees something that the other animals missed.
he turns to the deer, who remains optimistic, believing the man's sadness is lifted. But the owl shakes his head, saying, "No, my friend. I see a hole in the man, deep like a hunger he will never fill. He will continue to take and take until there is nothing left in the world."
The owl's words are chilling. They foreshadow the potential for destruction that lies within this insatiable desire, this hole that can never be filled.
It's like the owl's warning us. This constant striving, this relentless pursuit of more, can ultimately lead to our own downfall.
And this brings us to our second lens for today's deep dive. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust. This epic poem, written and refined over 60 years, explores similar themes of insatiable striving, the thirst for knowledge, and the potential consequences of unchecked desire.
Faust is a complex work, full of symbolism and allegory. But at its heart, it's a story about a man named Faust, who makes a deal with the devil for ultimate knowledge and experience.
Much like the man in the old man's story, Faust is driven by this deep, unquenchable thirst. He believes that if he can just acquire enough knowledge, experience enough of the world, he'll finally find true fulfillment.
But as we'll see, this pursuit comes at a steep price. Faust's insatiable striving ultimately leads him down a path of darkness and destruction.
And this is where the connection between these two seemingly disparate works becomes truly fascinating. We see the same pattern, the same underlying force, driving both the man in the old man's story and Faust himself. It's this hole that can never be filled, this relentless yearning for more, that can lead to both creation and destruction. Almost as if both the man in the story and Faust are, well, chasing after shadows, always reaching for something that's just out of grasp.
All right, and that's what makes their story so compelling, so tragically human. I mean, we can all relate to that feeling of wanting more,
Yeah.
of striving for something that we think will, will bring us happiness.
But what's fascinating about Faust is that Goethe doesn't simply present a straightforward moral tale.
Yeah.
He delves into these complexities of Faust's character, exploring the nuances of his desires and the internal struggles he faces.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit further. Faust isn't just this greedy scholar who wants power for power's sake. He's also driven by a genuine thirst for knowledge, desire to understand the mysteries of the universe.
Exactly. He's a brilliant scholar, a man who's dedicated his life to the pursuit of knowledge. But he reaches a point where he feels limited by human understanding. He yearns for something more, a deeper, a more profound understanding of the world.
And that's where Mephistopheles, the devil, enters the picture. He offers Faust a tantalizing proposition, a chance to transcend the limitations of human knowledge and experience the world in all its fullness.
Mephistopheles. He's a master manipulator. He preys on Faust's vulnerabilities. His insatiable curiosity and his longing for something more offers him a shortcut to knowledge, a way to bypass the hard work and dedication required for true understanding.
But as we see throughout the poem, this shortcut comes at a steep price. Faust's bargain with the devil, it leads him down a path
Yeah.
of moral compromise, ultimately culminating in tragedy.
It's a cautionary tale, but it's also a deeply human one. Goethe isn't simply condemning Faust for his ambition. He's exploring those complexities of human nature, the tension between our noble aspirations and our capacity for self-destruction.
So if we connect this back to the old man's story, do you think there's a way to reconcile this seemingly inherent human drive for more with the potential consequences of unchecked ambition? Is there a path to fulfillment that doesn't lead to ruin?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's one that I believe both of these works are grappling with. Perhaps it's not about eradicating desire altogether, but rather about finding a way to channel it, to harness its power for good.
Maybe it's about recognizing that true fulfillment, well, it doesn't come from those external achievements or possessions, but from something deeper, something more intrinsic.
Exactly. Perhaps it's about cultivating a sense of contentment, of gratitude for what we have, rather than constantly striving for something more.
And maybe it's also about finding a sense of purpose, something that gives our lives meaning beyond the accumulation of knowledge or experiences.
It's about aligning our desires with our values, ensuring that our pursuits are in service to something larger than ourselves.
It's fascinating how these ancient stories, though told in different times and cultures, offer such timeless wisdom.
And they invite us, the listeners, to reflect on our own lives, our own desires, and the paths we choose to pursue. Like, we're all on this journey of self-discovery, constantly navigating the terrain of our desires, trying to find our way to a place of genuine fulfillment.
And it's a journey fraught with challenges, temptations, and setbacks. But as both the old man's story and Faust remind us, it's also a journey that's full of possibilities.
What strikes me is how both stories highlight the importance of balance. The man in the old man's story, he's so consumed by his sadness that he fails to see the potential consequences of his desires.
And Faust, in his relentless pursuit of knowledge, he loses sight of his own humanity and the impact his actions have on others.
Like, they both become so fixated on the destination that they lose sight of the journey itself.
So if we want to avoid those pitfalls, maybe it's about cultivating a more mindful approach to our desires. Instead of blindly chasing after them, we can pause, reflect, ask ourselves, what's truly driving this desire? Is it aligned with my values? What are the potential consequences of pursuing it?
Finding that sweet spot between ambition and contentment, between striving for growth and appreciating what we already have.
It's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
for sure. And it requires us to be honest with ourselves, acknowledge both the light and shadow aspects of our desires.
And perhaps it also requires us to cultivate a sense of humility, recognize that we don't have all the answers, that we're all works in progress, constantly evolving and learning.
It's a beautiful thought. And it makes me think about the ending of Apocalypto. Without giving anything away, the film concludes with this incredibly powerful image of hope and renewal.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in the face of destruction, even when we've made mistakes and face the consequences of our actions, there's always the possibility for new beginnings.
It's like a seed being planted in fertile ground. Might take time, but with patience and care, something beautiful and transformative can emerge.
And that brings us back to you, the listener. We've explored these complex themes of insatiable striving, the thirst for knowledge, the potential consequences of unchecked desire. But ultimately, it's up to each of us to find our own path, to navigate our own desires, and create a life that's both meaningful and fulfilling.
So as you go about your day, consider this. What are the stories you're telling yourself about your desires? Are you clinging to a narrative of scarcity and lack? Or are you embracing a vision of abundance and
I
possibility?
remember the choices you make, the desires you choose to nurture, they ultimately shape the world around you. What seeds will you plant today?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the human condition. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep creating.